At least 46 killed in devastating fire incident at Bailey Road in capital. 75 others struggling at hospital. Prime Minister given instruction to ensure best treatment. 7 new faces take oath as State Minister. President Mahmoud Shahabuddin administers oath at Bangal Bhavan. Awareness should be raised to bring people under coverage of insurance, says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. BNP spreading misleading propaganda on price hike of electricity, says Obaidul Qadir. "122 Palestinians brutally killed by Israeli attack while collecting aid in Gaza Strip." And Fortune Borishal clinched the trophy of BPL for the first time, beating Kumilla Victorians by 6 wickets. Assalamu alaikum. Gulsatan Ahmed welcoming you all to News at 10. You have just heard the highlights, now moving on to the details of the news.
হিন্দু ভাই, খ্রিস্টান ভাই, বৌদ্ধ ভাইদের বলি, তোমাদের উপর এতদিন যে অত্যাচার মাঝে মাঝে হয়েছে সে আমি জানি, ভবিষ্যতে সে অত্যাচার হবে না। মুসলমানের যে অধিকার, এই দেশের হিন্দু খ্রিস্টান বৌদ্ধ সেই অধিকার এই বাংলার মাটিতে হবে।
At least 46 people, including women and children, tragically lost their lives in a fire that engulfed a multi-storied building in the capital's Bailey Road last night. The fire erupted at around 9:50 p.m. on Thursday, finally being subdued at 11:50 p.m. after relentless efforts by 13 units of the fire service. Firefighters rescued 75 individuals from the blaze. A special committee comprising 5 members has been formed by the fire service to investigate the incident. Assistance in the rescue operations was provided by police, ANSA and Village Defence Force members, NSI, BGB and RAB, working hand in hand with the fire service. President Mahmoud Shahabuddin and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina expressed deep shock and sorrow over the fire incident at Bailey Road in Dhaka that claimed dozens of lives. Meanwhile, the fire victims are under the treatment in Dhaka Medical College Hospital and Sheikh Hasina Burn and Plastic Surgery Institute. Dhaka Medical College Hospital Authority has already been handed over 40 dead bodies to their relatives. Health Minister Dr. Shamonto Lal Shen visited the fire victims at the Sheikh Hasina Burn and Plastic Surgery Institute this morning. Describing the conditions of the burn patient, the Health Minister said they are not out of danger. He said Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is monitoring the situation and giving necessary instruction to provide proper treatment to the patients. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina bemoaned that there was no fire exit in the multi-storied building that caught fire on Bailey Road, leaving dozens of people dead. The fire that broke out in Bailey Road, that is a multi-storied building, but there was no fire exit, she said. The Premier said this while addressing a program marking the National Insurance Day 2024 at Bangabandhu International Conference Centre in the capital this morning. Sheikh Hasina said her government has instructed time and again to ensure proper safety measures, that including setting up fire extinguishers and fire exits in the building. But Bailey Road Building Authority did not comply the order, she added. The Prime Minister urged all to follow the rules and regulations while constructing any building.
বিমাকে যদি যথাযথভাবে পরিচালিত করতে হয় তাহলে খুব বেশি প্রয়োজন অ্যাকচুয়াল সায়েন্স এবং অ্যাকচুয়াল ম্যানেজমেন্ট। এই বিমা শিল্পের জন্য অপরিহার্য অ্যাকচুয়াল তৈরি করবার জন্য আমরা ইতিমধ্যে বৃত্তি দেওয়া শুরু করেছি। তবে আমি মনে করি আমাদের পড়াশোনার ক্ষেত্রে এই অ্যাকচুয়াল সায়েন্স এবং ম্যানেজমেন্টের উপরে পড়াশোনার সুযোগ আরও সৃষ্টি করা উচিত, যদি এই বিমা শিল্পকে আমরা যথাযথভাবে কাজে লাগাতে চাই। একটা করেছি, তারপর মানুষ কিন্তু অত সচেতন না। এই যে আজকে আপনারা দেখেন বেলি রোডে যে আগুনটা লাগলো, সেখানে একটা মাল্টি স্টোরি বিল্ডিং, সেখানে কোনো মানে ফায়ার এক্সিট নেই। সাধারণত আমি সবসময় আমাদের যারা আর্কিটেক্ট তাদের রিকোয়েস্ট করি যে আপনারা অন্তত পক্ষে যখন ঘরবাড়ি তৈরি করেন একটু খোলা বারান্দা, ফায়ার এক্সিট বা ভেন্টিলেশনের ব্যবস্থা করবেন। যারা তৈরি করতে চায় আর্কিটেক্টরাও ওরকম ডিজাইন ঠিকমতো করবে না, আবার মালিকরাও 1 ইঞ্চি জায়গা ছাড়তে চায় না। 45 জন লোক মারা গেছে, এর থেকে কষ্টের আর কি হতে পারে। অথচ ফায়ার এক্সটিংগুইশার লাগানো, ফায়ারের নিরাপত্তা ব্যবস্থা বারবার আমরা নির্দেশ দিচ্ছি, সেটা কিন্তু মানে না। এইসব ক্ষেত্রে আসলে সচেতনতাটা খুব বেশি প্রয়োজন। সেটা অবশ্যই আপনারা আরো ব্যাপকভাবে যাতে মানুষ সচেতন হয় সেই চেষ্টাটা করবেন, আমাদের তরফ থেকে আমরা করছি।
Hassan Mahmud Ali, Chairman of Insurance Development and Regulatory Authority Zainul Bari, Bangladesh Insurance Association President Sheikh Kabir Hussain, and Secretary of the Financial Institutions Division Sheikh Muhammad Salimullah also spoke on the occasion. At the program, the Prime Minister distributed prizes among first, second and third in essay writing competition in 2 groups. She also inaugurated the bank assurance service that facilitates to provide premium of the insurance from the bank directly. 7 new faces were added to the cabinet as state minister. Newly appointed state ministers Mohammad Shahid-Zaman Sarkar, Mohammad Abdul Wadud, Mohammad Nazrul Islam Chaudhry, Rokia Sultana, Shamsun Nahar, Wasika Aisha Khan and Zaid Izaha Khan took oath at Bango Bhavan this evening. President Mohammad Shahabuddin administered the oath to the new state ministers. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was present at the function.
আমি মোহাম্মদ শহীদুজ্জামান সরকার সশ্রদ্ধ চিত্তে শপথ করিতেছি যে আমি আইন অনুযায়ী সরকারের প্রতিমন্ত্রী পদের কর্তব্য বিশ্বস্ততার সহিত পালন করিব।
After taking the oath, the state minister signed the oath of the office. President's spouse Dr. Rebecca Sultana, Speaker Dr. Shirin Shamin Chaudhry, cabinet members and high officials were present. Cabinet Secretary Mahmoud Mahbub Hussain conducted the oath-taking program. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has distributed portfolios to the newly appointed state ministers. A cabinet division gazette notification mentioned the portfolios to the respective state ministers. Lawmaker of Nauga 2 constituency Mohammad Shahid-Zaman Sarkar has been appointed as the State Minister for Planning Ministry. Lawmaker from Rajshahi 5 constituency Mohammad Abdul Wadud appointed at Rural Development and Cooperative Division. Lawmaker of Chattogram 14 constituency Mohammad Nazrul Islam Chaudhry appointed at Labour and Employment Ministry, while lawmakers from reserved women's seats Begum Rokia Sultana appointed at Health and Family Welfare Ministry, Begum Shamsun Nahar at Education Ministry, Begum Wasika Aisha Khan at Finance Ministry and Begum Nahid Izha Khan appointed at the Cultural Affairs Ministry. Awami League General Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Ministry Obaidul Qadir has said BNP is carrying out propaganda against the price hike of electricity. Obaidul Qadir said this price hike will not affect the general power consumers to reduce the subsidy in the power sector. The power price will be slightly increased at the level of large customers, he added. Obaidul Qadir made the comments in a statement which he issued condemning and protesting the false and fabricated speeches of BNP leaders. He said taking about electricity does not suit BNP leaders. The ruling party leaders said BNP Jamaat coalition was engaged in looting public money by opening Hawa Bhavan during its reign, while they looted 21,000 crore taka from the power sector. Obaidul Qadir said the World Bank had cancelled financing in the power sector due to the corruption of BNP Jamaat government during the BNP's reign. There was load shedding for 18 hours a day while farmers protesting for electricity were shot dead, he added. The Road Transport and Bridges Minister BNP made mockery with the country's people by installing only poles instead of giving electricity. Obaidul Qadir said BNP could not increase generation of 1 megawatt of power, but it hiked the price of electricity 9 times in 5 years during its regime. He said the power generation capacity has now increased to 29,700 megawatts thanks to the timely action of the successful statesman Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. 100% people of the country are now getting electricity facilities at the present, he added. The ruling party leaders said BNP leaders are going to their foreign masters after they were repeatedly rejected by their country's people. He also said BNP's leaders are doing politics thinking of the foreign ambassadors as their gods. Obaidul Qadir said those who do not respect the country's democratic process and election do not believe in the empowerment of the people. He said in his statement that BNP leaders talked about freedom of expression while they are constantly lying freely in front of media and are questioning the freedom of expression too. Obaidul Qadir said people of the country are aware of this duplicity and shameless lying of BNP. Social Welfare Minister Dr. Deepu Moni has said people who are working in mass media should make themselves technologically efficient. She made the comment while addressing the inaugural ceremony of 2024 Executive Committee of the Chatpur Press Club as the chief guest this afternoon. As the inaugural speaker of the ceremony, State Minister for Information and Broadcasting Mahmoud Ali Arafat said democracy will not be fulfilled without the freedom of mass media and its expansion. He also said the government will work together with the mass media to prevent rumors and spreading of propaganda. President of the Press Club Shahadat Hussain Shanti presided over the program where microbiologist Dr. Shejuti Shaha, Chief Engineer of Education Ministry Mohammad Delwar Hussain Majumdar and lyricist and journalist Kabir Bakul were present among others. Bangladesh is approaching to a new era of fuel supply using pipelines under the sea. It will be the first single-point mooring or SPM in South Asia for offloading fuel oil using the channel under the base of Bay of Bengal. The project was initiated in December last year and now activities of the second phase experimental oil supply is underway. With this initiative, fuel to be supplied to the Eastern Refinery in Chattogram through 115 kilometers of pipeline from the storage bank in Kalar Marchara of Maheshkali in Cox's Bazar. It takes up to 14 days to take fuel to Eastern Refinery oil plant in Chattogram and other storages from a ship in the sea. Following the reality, the government came forward in 2015 to install single-point mooring or SPM to transport fuel. Insiders say if the project goes into full operations, a huge amount of money as well as time will be saved in transporting fuel oil. And now, international news. Palestinians were been killed and 760 injured trying to get desperately needed aid in Gaza. Crowds descended on a convoy of lorries on the coastal road southwest of Gaza City in the presence of Israeli tanks. Israel's military say tanks fired warning shots but did not strike the convoy. Some Palestinians say troops fired directly at them. A Palestinian witness told the BBC most of those who died have been won over as lorry drivers tried to move forward. Israeli aerial footage shows hundreds of people go in and around lorries, while graphic videos posted online show bodies loaded onto an emptied aid lorries and a donkey cart. Giving the figures of 112 dead and 760 injured, Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry accused Israel of a massacre. The UN Security Council has scheduled a closed-door emergency meeting to discuss the incident. France said fire by Israeli soldiers against civilians trying to access food was unjustifiable, and US President Joe Biden expressed concern over the incident, which would complicate efforts by mediators to broker a temporary ceasefire in the war between Israel and Hamas. The medical charity MSF said it was horrified and called for an immediate and sustained ceasefire. The incident came hours before Gaza's health ministry announced that more than 30,000 people, including 21,000 children and women, had been killed in Gaza since the start of current conflict on 7 October. Some 7,000 were missing and 70,450 were injured, it said. Meanwhile, the UN is warning for a looming famine in the north of the territory, where an estimated 3 lakh people are living with little food or clean water. Voting is underway in Iran as the country holds its first elections since 2022. Today's elections are seen as crucial test of legitimacy and national support for Iran's leadership. but a low turnout is expected. Voter apathy remains high following a period of unrest after the death of Mahsa Amini, who was detained for wearing an improper hijab. More than 61.2 million people are eligible to vote. Two separate polls are taking place on Friday, one to elect the next members of parliament and another to elect members of the Assembly of Experts. The Assembly selects Iran's most powerful figure and commander-in-chief, the supreme leader who makes key decisions on issues important to voters, social freedom and economic conditions. Al-Zainabani is buried at a cemetery on the outskirts of Moscow. Large crowds raised arrests by attending and showing support for the prominent government critic. As his body was taken to burial, supporters chanted for Navalny. There's a heavy police presence in the area, but no arrests so far. Earlier, a number of foreign dignitaries, including the U.S. ambassador, were seen near the church. Russian opposition leader died in an Arctic prison where he had been held on politically motivated charges. Two-day Latin American carnival has started at Foreign Service Academy in the capital today. Traditional dance, songs and documentary are being highlighted at the carnival organized by Bangladesh Travel Writers Association and assisted by Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Salsa dancing was performed after the inaugural ceremony. And now, news on weather. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said weather may remain dry with temporary partly cloudy sky over the country. Night temperature may fall slightly and day temperature may remain nearly unchanged over the country, Met Office said. And now, news on sports. Fortune Borishal clinched the trophy of BPL cricket for the first time, beating Kumilla Victorians by 6 wickets in the final match today. Kumilla Victorians batted first and scored 154 runs for 6 wickets in their stipulated 20 overs at Mirpur Bangla National Stadium. Mahidul Islam Ankon scored 38 runs and Andre Russell scored unbeaten 27 runs for Kumilla. In reply, Fortune Borishal reached their victory target and scored 157 runs with 6 balls remaining. Kyle Mayer scored 46 runs of 30 balls and Captain Tamim Iqbal scored 39 runs of 26 balls for Borishal. And now, to end the 10 p.m. news, the headlines once again. At least 46 killed in devastating fire incident at Bailey Road in capital. 75 others struggling at hospital. Prime Minister given instruction to ensure best treatment. 7 new faces take oath as State Minister. President Mahmoud Shahabuddin administers oath at Bongo Bhavan. Awareness should be raised to bring people under coverage of insurance, says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. BNP spreading misleading propaganda on price hike of electricity, says Obaidul Qadir. "122 Palestinians brutally killed by Israeli attack while collecting aid in Gaza Strip." And Fortune Borishal clinched the trophy of BPL for the first time, beating Kumilla Victorians by 6 wickets. That was all for the newsroom at the moment. Thank you for staying with us, and we invite you to watch our 11:30 Bangla news. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.